Hi, fifth graders. This is Mrs. Trendell. I'm here to give you your last SCASA lesson online. All right, so we have talked about many topics over the last 7 lessons. Last week, if we want to do a little review on last week, we talked about alcohol and the effect of alcohol on your body and how that can affect you reaching your goals. So let's just talk and discuss a little bit, think back. How can alcohol affect your ability to reach your goals? So here are just a few that I've written down. So it can interfere with decision making. Okay, it interferes with coordination to play a sport or an instrument. It can affect your short-term memory, which makes it very hard to study for tests and do well in your school and in trying to learn something new. So those are just a few. So today we're going to talk about 2 other drugs and how these drugs affect your body and your brain. So remember, a drug is a substance that you put into your body that changes the way the body or mind works. So the 2 drugs we're going to talk about today are nicotine and marijuana. Substances such as nicotine are highly, highly addictive. But what does addictive mean? Well, addictive means that a person feels like they need to have it, they're hooked on it. A person addicted to a drug feels like they have to have the drug to feel normal. And the person keeps using it even when the drug causes problems or makes the person sick. In today's lesson, we're going to start by talking about the health risks involved in using tobacco products. But what is tobacco and where does it come from? So tobacco is a leafy plant typically grown to make cigarettes and cigars. Cigarettes, cigars, and pipe tobacco are called smoked tobacco products because they are all smoked. Some tobacco products like dip and chew are called smokeless tobacco products. Instead of smoking the tobacco, the user places the chopped up leaves inside their mouth. Some tobacco products don't use the leaves at all. Instead, the addictive chemical in tobacco is extracted from the plant and used in devices like e-cigarettes or vapes or vape pens. So what is the name of the addictive chemical that is extracted from the tobacco leaf? It is nicotine. Good job. So nicotine is the addictive chemical in tobacco. But no matter the product or how it is used, all tobacco products contain nicotine and can cause harmful effects. So next we're going to look at the effects of nicotine on the body, both short term, which happens in a day, a week, or even a few weeks, and long term, which develops after a longer period of use. So the first one that I have written are wrinkles. So the user develops wrinkles around the eyes and mouth. And wrinkles are a long-term effect because they develop after a longer period of tobacco use. Okay, and the reason that wrinkles form prematurely is due to the fact that nicotine causes the blood vessels to narrow, so reducing oxygen flow and nutrients to skin cells. Okay, a hacking cough. Okay, tobacco smoke contains chemicals that irritate the airways and lungs, causing the smoker to cough. Okay, this is a short-term effect because it can develop as soon as a person starts to smoke. Okay. Next, we have shortness of breath. Okay, this is a short-term effect because smoke enters the lungs right away, making it difficult for the smoker to breathe. So that is something that happens immediately. Okay, next is bad breath. Nicotine and tar stick to the user's mouth, causing bad breath to develop after a short period of use. Okay, also yellow teeth. Okay, nicotine and tar also stick to the user's teeth after a short period of time, causing them to turn yellow. Okay, next we have cancer. Cancer is irregular, uncontrolled cell growth. Tobacco users can develop cancer in their mouths, throats, and lungs after a longer period of use. Okay, next we have heart disease. So the nicotine in the body causes the heart to beat faster than normal and the blood vessels to get smaller. The heart has to work much harder to push the blood through the smaller blood vessels. Heart disease is a long-term effect of tobacco use. Next we have addiction. Okay, addiction is a short-term effect. Okay, so nicotine addiction is a short-term effect because a person can become addicted from just one use of the tobacco product. Okay, nicotine is a very highly addictive drug. And lastly, we have secondhand smoke. So secondhand smoke is exhaled by smokers and then inhaled by the non-smokers around them. So even brief exposure to secondhand smoke can be harmful because the non-smoker inhales many of the same poisons as the smoker. So if you have to be indoors or around a smoker, just try your best to excuse yourself from the area if that is a safe thing to do, or politely ask the smoker to go outside. We are very lucky because of the laws to protect the non-smokers. When we are in a public place, smoking and vaping are banned. So that means that it is not allowed to be used in those public places, like schools, stores, office buildings, etc. Some people don't think about how much a quick decision, so a quick decision where you don't stop and think, how a quick decision to use tobacco can affect their future and their ability to reach their goals. So why do you think people might try it in the first place? That's right. Some people might try it because someone pressures them to do so, or maybe because they think that they will fit in if they go along with that. So how many of you have done something you knew you shouldn't do just because you wanted to fit in? So just think to yourself. We often think our peers expect us to go along with what they are doing, when in reality they are more concerned about themselves and what others think about them. So we want you to make your own choices about what you should and shouldn't do. You will respect yourself more because of it, and so will others. Okay, so think about the peer pressure refusal strategies that we've talked about to help you make decisions that will keep you healthy and on track to reaching your goals. So remember the strategies of broken record, just repeating your refusal over and over, coming up with a better idea. Okay, so a better, a healthier, safer idea, something else that you could do instead. Make an excuse, okay, something that you have to do. So for example, sorry, I can't go with you right now. I got to go home and do my chores. Reverse the pressure. Okay, so you're putting the pressure back on the person. Stating the facts. Okay, so the facts of why you do not want to go along with that pressure. Okay, what the harmful effects could be. And saying no and walking away. Okay, so make sure you say no in an assertive, using your assertive communication, so you're using a confident and firm tone of voice. So good news is that most kids your age do not use tobacco products, and most kids know it's safer to never start. So let's just look at some of the benefits of deciding to be nicotine-free. Okay, so fresher breath, more money. Okay, people spend a lot of money on tobacco products. Happy heart, happy and healthy heart. Whiter teeth. You will smell good, or you won't smell like tobacco and smoke. Better sense of taste and smell. So remember, people who smoke and use tobacco products start to lose their sense of taste and smell, or it's not as strong. That sense, or those senses start to weaken. Healthy lungs, which means better breathing, and healthier skin. Excellent. So now that you know the effects of nicotine use and the benefits of being nicotine-free, what is the best thing for you to do? That's right. Never to start, not even once. Many nicotine users wish they had never started. Quitting tobacco products is extremely difficult, but it's not impossible. So the good news is, as soon as a person quits nicotine use, the body starts to heal. While the person may still experience some of the long-term effects of the nicotine use, the risk of their health decreases the longer they are nicotine-free. So now we're going to talk about another drug that can keep a person from reaching his or her goals. This drug is called marijuana. So let's meet David. David is in the 8th grade and he loves to play baseball. He has been on the school team since he was in the 6th grade. David doesn't want to do anything that would hurt his ability to play well. Recently, he's heard a lot of people talking about the drug marijuana, but he isn't sure what to believe about it. One of his teammates said he wanted to try the drug. David wants to know the facts about marijuana. So first I want you to help David by thinking of what he would need to play baseball. So what skills and abilities are necessary for him in playing baseball and also in attending practices and games? So I want you to think what skills and abilities are necessary. So you might be thinking you need to be able to run fast, to catch the ball, to throw the ball, to be able to swing the bat, to remember the plays, to be able to keep track of innings and the score. Okay, very good. Also, what does it take for a person to commit to attending all of the practices and games? Well, dedication and motivation. So your brain has been developing since the day you were born. Okay, in fact, it will continue to develop until you're in your mid-20s. Marijuana use can slow down or stop this growth process and impair your ability to learn. So we're going to look at some of the effects of marijuana use and how these effects can change the way the brain and the body works. All right, so the first one I listed is reduced motivation. So what does it mean to have reduced motivation? That's right. When users are no longer motivated, it means that they no longer care or try hard. They are no longer willing to do what it takes to get something done. Okay, number 2, poor concentration. Okay, poor concentration means that users can no longer pay attention or stay focused. Number 3, poor coordination. So the user no longer has the ability to make different parts of their body work together smoothly and efficiently. And number 4, short-term memory loss. Okay, so without short-term memory, a person cannot recall information that they recently processed. So for example, marijuana users may not remember that what they ate for dinner the night before or what movie they watched over the weekend. So just like alcohol, marijuana use impairs many functions of the brain and body. Okay, so how many of these skills and abilities do you think are affected by marijuana use? That's right, all of them. Okay, so users can not only damage their brains by using marijuana, but they can experience other negative consequences. So in the next slide, we're going to look at how these effects of marijuana use can cause negative consequences and how they can interfere with your ability to do something. So now that we've reviewed some of the effects of marijuana, I want you to take a moment and think about our friend David, who was in 8th grade and loves to play baseball. I want you to consider each of the effects of marijuana that we talked about in the slide before and how this could affect David's ability to play baseball. Okay, we're going to look at the negative consequences from each of these effects. So the first one was, if you could remember, was reduced motivation. So a baseball player who experiences reduced motivation will no longer care about the game. Okay, so some negative consequences could be that the player could get kicked off the team, or they might just quit because they don't really care anymore. Okay, would anybody want a player on your team that doesn't really care about playing the game? Yeah, probably not. Okay, so how about poor concentration? So what are some possible negative consequences of poor concentration when playing baseball? Okay, so maybe striking out, dropping the ball, making mistakes that could result in losing the game. Those are just some of the few. So that's right, marijuana use impairs concentration, so users can't focus on completing tasks or doing activities well. How about number 3, poor concentration? What can happen to a baseball player who has poor concentration? Well, maybe they might not be able to swing or hit the ball. They might not be able, or coordination, I'm sorry. They might not be able to swing or hit the ball. They might not be able to run well, catch well. They could get hurt. So marijuana interferes with a person's ability to play baseball or participate in other activities that he or she enjoys. How about some of the possible negative consequences of having short-term memory loss? And specifically when playing baseball. So maybe the player forgets their gloves or equipment. They might make mistakes. They might forget their hand signals. They don't know how many outs the team has. Maybe they forget when or where the game is and maybe don't show up. So marijuana can affect a person's ability to remember basic information. So David and the team realized staying drug-free will help them accomplish the things they set out to do, not just for baseball, but for all their other goals as well. Marijuana use is harmful to the brain and body, affecting the user's behavior, health, and safety. Just like alcohol and tobacco, marijuana use can also interfere with a person's ability to reach his or her goals. The debate about the legal status of marijuana continues across the country. Even if marijuana use becomes legal for adults to use, it still is not something safe to put in your body. Just like tobacco and alcohol, the risks of marijuana use are significant, and the harm to your mind and body is real. Congratulations, 5th graders. You've completed the Too Good for Drugs program through SCAZA. So you've learned and practiced skills over these last 8 lessons that you will continue to use throughout your life so that you can be happy and healthy. We hope that you can use these skills every day and remember the dangers of drug use so that you can continue to make good decisions and to reach your goals. We wish you success and great job throughout these lessons. And we will see you next year.